We continue to visit with all the candidates that we possibly can and who want to come on the show. And joining us in studio right now, candidate for Constable in Precinct 2, Jody Barnes. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back, Chad.
Absolutely. How's everything going?
It's going real well. Our campaign's real strong, and getting out there, meeting lots of folks, and talking to them, visiting with them, sitting down in their living rooms with them, and just getting to know people. And it's been a real positive thing for us, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
You know, obviously the presidential race is kind of dominating headlines and talk really around everybody. And then you look at the Texas 19 race, that's generating some headlines out there. When it comes to Constable, how do you get across to people your message and the reason why they need to make a change?
The best way that I've found to get the message across is to go to the front door and put your hand in their hand and shake it and visit with them. We've been doing that, and every day we're working on that. And social media, being it's free, is the best way to communicate around for us guys. Like you say, we get washed out by the presidential race, HD 84, 19. Those races are really tough for us to get. That's where a lot of folks look at. And so whenever you show up at their house and you want to talk to them, most of the time they're very receptive, and made a lot of good relationships. Rented some of my former teachers, people that I went to high school with, people that I've gone to different churches with over the years, just different things like that. Meeting a lot of people, so I've enjoyed doing that.
What is it's hard to describe, I guess, on the radio. So I'm sure people can go to your Facebook page or or website and see the map. But about what area is covered by Precinct 2? Okay,
it's going to be 34th and Slide to 82nd and Slide east to University Avenue. At University, it's 50th to 98th Street and over to the Tahoka Highway. And then outside the interstate and loop, right, basically it's kind of jagged on the top, but for all intents and purposes, it's East 4th Street to the East County line and all the way south to the county line, including Slayton. And so if you're outside the 289 or 87, right out in that area, then you're in. If you have a question about that, you can contact me on my Facebook page at Jody Barnes for Constable, or my email is jb4pct2@gmail.com, and I'd be glad to talk with you and make sure that you've got the right precinct and that you know where you're at.
Really, in all campaigns, the incumbent always has the upper hand because they have that incumbent title.
Yes, sir.
To their name. So what are some of the reasons that you're giving people to make a change in Precinct 2?
Well, in this last 4-year period in the Constable Precinct 2 office, we've had tens of thousands of dollars of waste, and I think that it's incumbent upon us as a public servant to take care of that taxpayer money like it's our own and like it's your own, because it is. A little bit of it belongs to everybody. And that waste has come in the way of wrecked vehicles. We have 3 county vehicles that have been wrecked in 2 different police chases, and we have 3 hospital bills that we've had to pay, and that is not acceptable whenever that it was unnecessarily done. And even Sheriff Rowe asked the constable to stay out of their out of their business when it came to that matter, because of the irresponsibility, and issued the constable a letter, and I thought it was pretty telling at the end when it says that you should not consciously jeopardize the public and their safety to achieve that end-all cost. And there was some excessive force used in that, and the sheriff also noted that. And I think that we need to conduct ourselves in a professional manner at all times as law enforcement, and whenever you do that, you're going to get good results. And then you also have to balance the assets of your department against the risk, and to the public, to your equipment, to the things in that nature, to make sure that you don't cause yourself any undue loss and put a burden upon the taxpayers or the sheriff's office, having to give the constable a car to ride around in. I mean, he's got his own deputies that need to have cars and need to have their equipment is purchased for them, and so they don't need to be having to worry about taking care of the constable's office with it, because that equipment's been damaged through careless use.
When is it appropriate, you think, to, I guess, with the sheriff weighing in and saying, okay, don't get involved? Is there ever a time that the constable needs to get involved?
My belief is a constable should stick to the duties of the Justice of the Peace Court. After all, that's the job of the constables. Mm-hmm. if the sheriff was to say specifically to you, can you please help us? Absolutely. You drop what you're doing and you help them. With their resources, the chances of that happening, I would say, are probably not real great. But if it's there, absolutely, you be prepared to do that. Otherwise, I think we need to stick to the duties of the constable and taking care of those duties. There's plenty there to take care of. I've never heard the guys complaining. I know several of the constables, and I've never heard them complaining about a shortage of work. Visiting
with Jody Barnes, candidate for Precinct 2 Constable. You've also brought up some other things that you I guess, like to implement, correct?
Yes, there's a concept that we learn in the police academy. It's called community policing, and basically what that does is it gets the officer involved in the community. And as I've walked and met over 1,000 people in the city of Lubbock, I have run across less than 10 people that know who our current constable is, and also in people that in other districts that don't really know. And I think community policing means when I was in Floydada, I really learned what the concept of community policing was. We had some young kids that were getting in trouble for riding their skateboards and business drive sidewalks and stuff. So they went we went with them to go before the city council, and they asked if we could help them build a skate park. So we would sell sausage wraps at the local community events. We would sell donuts at them. We held, we held dances where the fire department, police department, and the EMS personnel would work the dances and really take care of those kids, and now they have a place to go ride their skateboards. And we would stand outside when we would have dances. We would chaperone them as a police department, stand outside, wait for those parents to drop the kids off. You know, if you're going to take your kid to something, there's nothing more comforting than to see a police officer out front and know that the whole police department is there and taking care of your kiddo. And then we stayed there till every kiddo was left. I've done things like that. I've done barbecue cook-offs for charity during my time as a police officer when I was in Slayton. And then also, too, we had the school resource officer over there would give classes. There was actual class. It was a daily meeting class and learning about law enforcement and things like that for kids who thought that they might want to do that. And I went and talked to them about report writing and detail and things like that. That kind of related to their English class. And then also, too, we talked about domestic violence and things to look for and the dynamics of domestic violence. You never know whenever a kid might have an opportunity to stop it or say something or prevent it. So, yeah, just an overall being involved in your community. If elected constable, I promise you that more than 5 to 10 people will know who I am.
Give folks a little bit of your background.
So I have 13 years in law enforcement, and then 3 years in the volunteer fire service and 2 years in volunteer EMS. When I was in Floydada, we had most of the crew was female over there in the EMS crew, and sometimes we'd have to help them lift at night. And so in order to be in compliance with the EMS protocol, I had to be certified. So the chief sent me through there, and I got my EMT certification, and so I was able to help out. And also too, I got involved with the fire department. It's just in those small communities, it's an all hands on deck, and so I've been many times, do 2 or 3 functions at one scene, just wherever you're needed. And so I went, and then I was a reserve at Slayton while I was in the police officer academy. While there, I received a letter of commendation from Lieutenant Timms for my number of hours that I worked. I always made the requisite number of hours, and so I received a letter of commendation there from that. And then I was a police officer in Slayton there. After I left Floydada, we came back to get a little bit closer back to home. And so I went to Slayton. I have worked 2 years at the Lubbock County Sheriff's Department in the jail when I started off. I really enjoyed that time, and I was there during Y2K and kind of remember that. I was there on New Year's Eve at Y2K, and so that was a different experience. We kind of had a lot of planning going on for that and everything, and then we wanted to move to Austin for a while, and so went down there for a few months. I was in a part of a little department called Florence, Texas. It's just right there north of Georgetown, but we decided to move back to West Texas. We like it up here on the high ground,
Yeah, absolutely. As we wrap up today's interview, tell folks why they need to know, why they need to vote for you, in your opinion, and maybe one last thing they need to know about you.
Okay, my reason for people voting for me is that taking better care of our taxpayer money, making sure that we spend that responsibly, we make good decisions, and are not careless with the equipment and things that we buy, and to promote that community policing. many ways that we can become involved. You see different things going on in the community. I think it's pertinent that we get involved in that in law enforcement. And you can contact me if you have any questions about my campaign at Jody Barnes for Constable there on Facebook. I've got several articles. Last time we talked about the license plate reader cameras.
Right.
I wrote an article about that. Got that on my Facebook page there, and some stuff about the Second Amendment rights and what does conservative mean. And I will be adding a couple more articles to that as we go along. And then my email is jb4pct2@gmail.com.
All right, Jody Barnes, candidate for Constable Precinct 2. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Chad.